you may have seen my latest video in which I talk about Ninja and him saying something that was, of course, I felt was wrong, immoral, not just, not righteous, when he was talking about forcing people to, basically using the government to force people to wear masks. What he said is that the government, state, or more so local and federal is what he said, I believe, should crack down on no maskers. Of course, I'm going to be against those acts of aggression. But what happened today after that? He quote tweeted me, and now my mentions have been bombarded with weirdos saying that I'm stupid. Ninja. You idiot. You're dumb. None of these are arguments against any of my positions, by the way. But yeah, here we are. So what I figured I would do is do a follow-up video. So while they're live on my page, I might as well break in a little bit of revenue from another video of me mentioning this guy as they are rating my post. Perfectly fine with that. I'm not telling him to stop. I'm not telling anybody to report him for doing that. That's what it is. He has 6 million followers. He's one of the biggest streamers ever. And he is, when he quote tweets someone, and definitely if he's quote tweeting in the dissent, they are going to raid your post. That's what it is. That's anticipated. But it's not going to certainly deter me from doing anything or saying what I say, what I genuinely believe in. So let's talk about this first and foremost. He did end up responding. And he said this here. A lot of you guys are probably going to learn something, or more likely not, you're just going to come click on the video, downvote it, and then tell me how stupid I am in the comments if you are a fan of Ninja. He says, after I quote tweeted him saying that he could go fuck himself, he says, honestly, I hope that nobody in your family or any of your friends suffer from COVID. One of those guilt trippy type of deals. One of my best friends lost his grandmother to the virus. Again, guilt trip. Hundreds of thousands are dying, and wearing masks help prevent. He's acting as if, and that was sort of, it's kind of odd that he made that connection, by the way. It's very dishonest, where he's like, okay, masks prevent it. And then he mentions that his grandmother died from it, as if that is connected. Probably sure there's no proof that, and obviously it would be very difficult to provide such proof that that person or his grandmother specifically died because of lack of someone wearing a mask or something like that, when you consider how infectious this disease is or this sickness is. So he played the guilt trip deal. I said, congrats, one of your best friends lost his grandma. That's not an argument, though. People died, Ninja. People die from viruses, bacteria, and so forth prior to COVID-19. What you are advocating is that the state handle no maskers. No amount of dead people makes that just. He says, agree to disagree. I guess, man, just look at America's cases handling this science statistics. Again, he is just like everybody else is doing right now. They're looking at the rising of the cases, even the positive rate more so with the cases, and they're just saying doom, gloom, and so forth. And obviously he's trying to attribute that to masks. Do we have any proof of that? No, of course we don't. At least not yet, as far as, okay, because people aren't wearing masks, that's why this is spreading. But that's the connection that he's making, and that's sort of the propaganda when it comes to this that has been perpetuated in this regards, where people just believe almost as if the mask just gives you invulnerability, or more so because it's spreading because of lack of mask, which is hilarious because this guy's been talking about these protests and so forth, black fists and up in the air and all of that. Doesn't seem like that seemed to spread the virus, so forth. Nobody was accused of killing people's grandmothers, but in the event that I'm against you being, or more so you forcing people, advocating that people be punished by way of the state because they don't wear a mask, now I'm killing people's grandmother, and it's my fault. You see how this works? You know what I mean? And it's funny because not once did I ever try to stop people from wearing masks. I personally don't choose to wear them, but even if my position was where, like, I wore masks everywhere, I feel like that it was something that I wanted to do. That was a risk that I was willing to take. Even if that was, or that was a risk I was not willing to take. Even if that was my position, I would not want to force that upon any other individual. A lot of the things that people are griping about isn't necessarily new. We've been dealing with this throughout human history, and that is diseases that exist, or more so bacteria and viruses and so forth being spread. And you can be completely asymptomatic and be fine, but someone that maybe has health issues or they just have a more severe reaction than you are, that's not anything that's new or anything. And I know that we have this ticker and everybody's attention on that, but believe it or not, viruses have existed prior to this. Viruses also that people catch that don't have a cure. So the viral pneumonia, if it's not associated with influenza, there is no cure for that, right? And people die from that. That's not anything new. That this may be a little more infectious and so forth. I reiterate this time and time again, that is the case. It may be more infectious, but that is what you guys are griping about is not necessarily new. And that is, people may get it and may get sick. As if nobody died before and nobody's going to die after. It's also no logic that we've applied to anything else really in recent human history. You don't stop people, force people not to eat certain things when you consider heart diseases and other diseases that are the cause of death or so forth. I understand that the logic here people are using that you may get someone else sick. But again, that can be said about a multitude of different bacteria, viruses that are all around us that obviously you cannot see. Yet it was never claimed due to flu season or any other season. I understand that flu has a vaccine, but that doesn't mean that a lot of times the vaccine doesn't even work. It does change each year in terms of the vaccine that they generally implement or have you guys using, because it's a different strand. It mutates every year. So either way, people didn't say that you would kill us. So many old folk die of influenza, and nobody was ever claiming that everybody should walk around in masks or be forced more so, which is the issue. Like I've said, I'm not telling you not to wear a mask. Never once have you seen me do a video. Never once in this back and forth that I've gone with Ninja and his weirdo followers. I've never claimed that they shouldn't wear masks or they should not wear masks. I choose not to. That's a risk that I'm willing to assume. If I get sick, if I even die, none of this changes, by the way. I want to be very clear. If I caught this and died, none of this absolutely changes. If someone close to me caught this and died, none of this absolutely changes. This is called consistency. This is how liberty works. Okay? If a private business, which I reiterated in my last video, if a private business does not want to force people, or more so wants to, let's say, you got to shop here. If you want to shop here, you have to wear a mask. That's absolutely their right. That's the right to make that as a policy. And if someone doesn't want to shop there or does want to shop there, that's their right in that regards as well. It was never about the fact that matter you wearing a mask or someone like me wearing a mask or any, that was never the argument. The position is that you don't have a right to force people not to, or excuse me, force people not to, or force people to wear it. That was the deal. Okay. So that flies over everybody's head. He also says, let me reiterate, agree to disagree, I guess, man. Just look at America's cases handling this. I respond, this isn't an agree to disagree, because what I'm not agreeing to that. He's saying that, as far as what he's saying, I said, you're advocating for using force and violence on people in the event that they choose not to wear a mask. I've seen America's cases. I've been following it in its entirety. Science and statistics doesn't negate what I just said, because it doesn't. It does not. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. And you can say, oh, it's just a mask. Just put the mask on. That doesn't change anything about what I'm saying. And I get there's a lot of level one commentators out there. Everybody's trying to get political and they don't know a damn thing really. And they don't extend it to the logical conclusion when it comes to government. What you are doing is ensuring conflict with the police. You're ensuring conflict with federal agents or whoever's enforcing these policies by way of the state when you say that you want them to crack down on that. The fact that there are people that are walking around with no mask. I know that it doesn't, because he's Ninja, right? He's all happy and you know, no violence and all of this. And I understand that this is what that advocate for statism need to understand. That's a logical conclusion. In the event that someone is a no masker, and you're saying that they want to crack down, they have to crack down on it, you're implying that they have to force people, because that's what the state implies in itself. If they see me outside and there's a policy that I have to be wearing a mask, and they see me outside without a mask, in public without a mask, I have then created a conflict. Or not me, you did, as the person advocating the statism. That policy exists. The state law enforcement forces come up to me, say, you don't have a mask, you need to leave. You don't have a mask, you better wear a mask. And if I choose to resist, what happens? And you could say it's just a mask. Doesn't matter. We've seen people die for a lot less. In fact, what Ninja and all these other guys is griping about George Floyd. What was he killed for? Oh, okay. What was Eric Gardner killed for? Not selling, or more so selling loose cigarettes, right? Okay. George Floyd, counterfeit 20, knee on the back of his head, dies. Yeah. Why did that happen? You know, that's the logical conclusion of what the state is when they enforce a policy. So this is why I've always encouraged you, when you talk about making things illegal that have no victim, there's no act of aggression directly. Again, a sickness is a sickness. So you don't have the right to get nobody sick. That's not what I said. I'm not advocating that people go cough on your grandma, by the way. But you have to think of it in the capacity of, is this something that I'm willing to get someone killed over? Because that's ultimately what it boils down when it comes to the state. And we're talking about something that has no victim, right? Not me wearing a mask. Good luck trying to prove. It's one thing if I knowingly have the disease, right, or sickness, and I go in a nursing home and just start coughing on all that can be considered an act of aggression. But that's not what I'm advocating. I'm just saying, if someone does not want to assume the risk, they can wear a mask. If they do want to assume the risk, they don't have to wear a mask. That's their right to do that. You don't have a right to force them one way or the other. Again, I'm not telling you not to wear a mask. If that makes you comfortable, that makes you feel invulnerable, by all means, go wear a mask. Do it. But yeah, my mentions are getting rated. As soon as I upload this video, there's gonna get rated. My posts are gonna be ratioed and so forth. This is just the inevitable thing that is going to happen as a result of this man being in my mentions. Or not being in my mentions, he quote tweeted me, and then I'm not griping. I think this is people that are like, oh man, like, no, I'm not griping. I mean, it is what it is. That's why I'm doing this video. I'm gonna monetize y'all at least in some capacity. You even got weirdos. Some dude was like, man, like 12-year-olds, man. Where's this dude? Some dude's like, there was somebody that I quote tweeted was like, oh, he has 30 million. Like, look at this, like, this is how Ninja, man, he clearly isn't teaching them how to do math. Ninja quotes this, already has more likes. What a joke. Yeah, he has he's the biggest streamer. He has 6 million followers. Of course, anything that he quotes tweets me on, I'm going to get ratioed on. That's just how it works. It's how it works. But yeah, this dude right here, I don't see 30 million in your bank account, buddy, so don't talk. I guess if I'm not as rich as Ninja, I don't get to have an opinion or a position. And that's what I think. What this shows, guys, is what I've talked about before on this channel when it comes to culture and the importance of it. This is how these guys operate. It's, you don't agree with my position, I have to shut you up. As soon as he quote tweeted, there's people trying to get my video taken down and all sorts of stuff saying I'm spreading misinformation. God forbid I don't have the position that they have when it comes to utilizing force on peaceful people. But this is what I'll be talking about as far as this is how they operate. And you have to be prepared for that when dealing with these types, and that they will try to shame you out of your position, use the sort of cultural pressure and so forth. I just don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm going to say exactly what I say. If Ninja would want to have a conversation live about this, that's fine. But I'm not going, oh my God, I got quote tweeted. I'm getting ratio. Oh my God. I don't care. It is what it is. It is what it is. That's what happens when I quote tweet people that have big followings and they quote tweet me back. That's what happens. But I'm not going to report them for harassment or anything like that, because it is what it is. It's just a freaking quote tweet. And none of these guys over here going to whoop my ass or nothing like that. It is what it is. But that's how they operate. And this is why I say you got to put your nuts on the table and stand your ground. If any of these guys wanted to have a live discussion on this, because I do this more than them, obviously. This is my field. Not necessarily saying like science or anything. What I'm saying is talking politics, which is ultimately that's the issue that I have. I'm talking about it from a political, and when we talk about the state and stuff, that's right up my alley. This is what I do. It's what I've been doing for the better part of this decade. Okay. So if you wanted to have a live discussion on any of these blue check marks, Huffington Post guy and the blue check mark, oh, God forbid you have to wear a cloth. That's how they try to dumb it down. It's like this incremental authoritarianism. It's just the mask. It's just the mask. This lot of incremental deal. So, it is what it is. Like, I'm not even tripping. I'm not even tripping on that. They can be upset at me all they want. Hopefully they do end up clicking this video, giving me some viewership so I can make some money. Goddamn right, I'm gonna monetize you. So if you are a Ninja follower and you like that blue-haired guy, by all means, you can come in, thumbs the video down. Just make sure you, it ain't gonna make sure. You're probably gonna, by the time you got there and click the video to dislike it, you're gonna get an ad. So I'm gonna get the money. So thanks.